Good to be with you.
Thank you very much. And we're going to start off with Al Ahram. Al-Sisi concludes a successful visit to the United Arab Emirates, and presidential spokesman says the timing and the schedule of the visit were previously set and there was no modification. President Al-Sisi wrapped up his official visit to the United Arab Emirates on Saturday. During his two-day visit, President Al-Sisi attended celebrations marking 45th National Day of the UAE. The head of state also attended the military parade with the participation of some Egyptian fighter jets. Of course, this is one of the many official trips to neighboring countries, especially here. This time it's for an Arab country by President Al-Sisi, a very successful one. How do you see the timing of this visit, especially that Egypt have taken new steps on its economic map? Does it have any economic significance? Can we expect some
Probably
results from this visit, economic results?
Let me tell you one thing. In order for the economy to really start to function properly, you've got to have the framework of this, which is actually the law of investment, Dina. Because the law of investment sets the rules of how you are going to have investors come and invest in Egypt. And we still don't have this law, to be honest. And what made a big blow to the summit that took place in Sharm el-Sheikh was the fact that we did not, at that time, issue a proper law upon everybody agreed, and that's why we have seen a revision. And the revision, we haven't seen it yet. So you've got to put what I call the framework of how you are going to conduct investments in Egypt. We have to set our papers first before we move to countries to come and invest in Egypt. Probably the best thing that President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi has been doing so far is his foreign policy and his foreign initiation to recreate our position, not just in the region or in the Middle East or in Africa, but in the world, okay? So many controversies, as you will see, have been raised. Why did President al-Sisi leave before the coming of King Salman to the United Arab Emirates?
Exactly, that was going to be my
and
second
probably as well Tamim, okay? But I'll tell you one thing. Nobody can deny that there is a huge misunderstanding among Egypt and Saudi Arabia. Probably because we have different views, but even in one family, you can have different
Exactly.
views.
We shouldn't exaggerate over differences.
Are we the ones who are exaggerating? No. Are we the ones who are taking measures and escalating and putting emphasis on differences rather than on what we agree upon?
On similarities.
Exactly.
We have lots of similarities, and we have to agree on them.
We have one very important similarity, which is our destiny and our future.
We have
and not just as a nation.
We're going to continue on the same issue, but this time from Al-Akhbar, and I think you can elaborate more. The front page reads, the president returns to Cairo after participating in the 45th National Day of the United Arab Emirates, and on the second day of the official visit, the president visited the shrine of late Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan. The head of state also visited the Al-Karama Oasis, the memorial of the UAE Armed Forces martyrs, where he laid a wreath and inspected an honor list of the martyrs' names. Of course, there is Al-Masri al-Yawm also is mentioning the same headline, the diplomacy of avoiding meeting with leaders. He's talking about, I guess, King Salman. Celebrations
not just
of,
King Salman.
And Tamim.
Yes.
But Tamim is not a leader. That's why he could not be considered
well,
among leaders. Celebrations.
He is the head of state of...
Officially, yes.
Yes. Of a little thing that I need a microscope in order to identify it on the
over
map.
the map. The celebrations of UAE, Al-Sisi leaves and Salman arrives, an Egyptian Emirati agreement to contain the crisis of the region. Al-Sisi returns to Cairo and Emirati media applauds or hails his participation in the National Day celebrations. Well, before you elaborate on the same issue, because we have, I'm sure that you have a lot on your part to say, but let me ask you a simple question. Egyptians are inquiring or are thinking how any foreign investment could decide to come over and invest any amount of money into a country that is changing its economic decisions every day and taking the wrong steps.
Not just
its government. I mean, a decision like lifting lifting the customs over the poultry import. Is it in the best interest of whom?
That's
the Egyptian
issue.
Citizen or the capital?
And Dina, if you remember, this is not the first time that they issue a decision and they go back on it. This is a government that, and we've got to admit to that.
Dr. Madkour, how many times have we said the same quote
Not just this.
over governments that were assigned here? It's all the government, are all the governments weak?
Because they come
what
from
is wrong
the
with
same,
them?
they come from the same school, all of
Where
them.
are the good calibers? Why aren't
They
we
are not
assigning good
included.
calibers?
On the contrary,
So there
they
should
are
be
excluded because you want a crowd that goes together very well. Unfortunately, the crowd that goes together very well does not include different paths, different visions. We want one vision. And I'm telling you, and I said that last time on this program, if we go on like that, we shall fall. It's an inevitable fall, unfortunately, because all our economic decisions are not really studied, that their repercussions are not studied, their social, which is the most important. You cannot just talk about politics or economics without taking the social context into account. It must have a repercussion. Can't they see that the people are really disagreeing with what is going on? Yes, it is harsh and it should have been taken in the past, but you cannot take so many economic
but how
decisions
come we don't see the
at the same
harshness?
time.
But how
you
come
should have lifted first the subsidies and then moved to this floating or liberation of
Doctor,
the pound.
how do you justify?
What we did is exactly vice versa.
No, another important question. How do you confirm decisions like lifting subsidies on the middle class sector and the poor sector
exactly.
and lifting the customs over importing
For
the poultry
whose benefit?
with millions
For
of
whose
millions?
benefit?
Why don't we effect more customs over the people who are importing with millions and millions?
No, who have the money.
Are we lifting on the
We
people who do
are
not have the money?
stepping on those. We are really wiping off, Dina.
Where is the capital tax? Where is the capital tax?
Or not just the capital tax. Tax that is to be determined according to your income.
That's the capital tax. I mean, why aren't we infecting the capital tax and we're not going to infect
because, Dina, they are scared of the business people. They are scared of the traders. This government is a weak government. It has really to stand with the president and not to work against the president.
And back to Al-Ahram, the front page, and we read the Constitutional Court rules that Article number 10 of the protest law is unconstitutional. And Baha Abu Shu'a says the rest of the articles are valid until it is amended or annulled. Egypt's Constitutional Court issues rulings on constitutionality of a protest law. Local lawyers had contested 4 separate articles in the law Of course, we're still with the same issue from Al-Akhbar. We read the main banner, the Constitutional Court, the prevention of the Minister of Interior to the protest is unconstitutional. The law is constitutional except Article number 10, and those imprisoned will not be benefiting from the verdict. I need two explanations. What is Article number 10 and what does it provide? And why is the presidential pardoning to those, the prisoners
no,
of...
it doesn't talk about the pardoning. It talks about that making it unconstitutional, Article 10, which says that the Ministry of Interior, has no authority to prevent people from demonstrating.
Right, but who is imprisoned here? The people who demonstrate?
This is everywhere. You cannot apply a law when it is new on old cases, even in the United States.
Exactly, this is what I'm talking about. That's why the prisoners of opinion are not going to be having a full pardon, even if they get a presidential decree.
No, it has nothing to do with the pardoning of the president.
So if they get a pardon, they will get...
a right given to the president when they are convicted. But for as long as they are held, this is another totally different issue. They are going to witness a lawsuit and defend themselves.
Exactly. It's the natural course.
This is the natural
But
course.
what about the law itself?
The law itself just prohibits.
What changes
doesn't
are
give
introduced?
the Ministry of Interior the right to say, no, you cannot demonstrate. That's the only issue. Mind you, we are having a complex since Habib al-Adli that whoever comes as an interior minister will misuse his power. By the way, it does not apply to Magdi Abdel Ghaffar. No, he's direct. He wants honest to conduct his affairs openly. One of the ministers on whom I said they are not good. No, he's very good. He's doing a good job, like Sidi Subhi, like Samah Shukri, and there are others, but few, Dina. I'm not talking about the economic group. They are the worst.
Economic groups are always the worst. Why?
Because we choose from the same box. I wish to find that box. And if I do, I'll throw it in the Nile.
And still with the same issue from Al-Masri al-Yawm, we read the Constitutional Court says no authority for the Interior Ministry in preventing the rallies. The human rights groups welcome the verdict, and law experts say, and I quote, it does not mean that those who are imprisoned would be released. That's a good step. And everywhere, those who are imprisoned, they are not released until the whole official course is being taken.
Exactly.
But the question here is that, do they have to take permission before demonstrating, like before, or they don't have to take permission?
Anywhere you have to take a permission.
So still they have to take permission, but they cannot prevent them.
He cannot say no.
To the permission.
He has to grant the permission.
He has to grant them.
Yes, but I believe they must put some rules. Why? Because we are not in a country that is not surrounded by danger everywhere, okay? And we don't know who is working for us or pro-Egypt and who is working against Egypt. And we've seen that during Morsi's time. So we really have to put some regulations, and it's not wrong. It doesn't take from your rights anything. But the problem is we are too complex. We are always fearing of the human rights, I don't know what, and the human who only appear to Egypt and not to anyone else in the world. Okay, look, I am free for as long as my freedom does not affect your freedom or anyone else's freedom. But I'm free just like that. It's a chaotic situation. Okay.
Well, the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, when the President-elect Donald Trump already he claimed victory and they announced that victory in the presidential race, she raised her concerns with François Hollande about human rights fate in the United States. So they're going to target the human rights issue against
Well,
Donald
you will
Trump.
not see it as harsh as is with us.
I wonder what are they going to do with Trump with all this,
No,
you
look,
know,
look, Trump, we all
race
know.
issues and...
This is a businessman, okay, in office. And this businessman doesn't do anything for charity, okay? Pardon my voice, and Dina, I have a terrible voice today.
Yeah, you're doing fine.
I hope so. But, you know, the problem is Trump is a rightist with all what
His
it
might.
means. Exactly. And he's a businessman. He's probably the only one in recent times in the American foreign policy that praised Egypt and what we are doing, and praised even President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, especially after he sat with him and he understood that this is a guy, yes, he is a Muslim, yes, he is a Sunni Muslim, but he is fighting really terrorism. Nobody has given us this credit. As if we are, well, the Egyptians can go to hell. It was always given to me, you know, by the West, and certainly by Obama's administration. And I'm not putting so much hope on Trump, because Trump, at the end of the day, is just, you know, a person. He's one of the executive administrators in, that's an institutionalized government. It's a government of institutions.
It's not a one-man show.
No, and it has never been. There is a grand design for the United States, and whoever comes has to fit into it.
But still, they have to consider whom are they creating. I mean, what type of model are they
At
creating? They
least
did the
you
same
will
thing
not-
with Obama,
No,
and it
I'll
did
tell
not
you
work.
one thing. Obama and his administration, along with definitely Hillary Clinton, have created, you know, terrorist groups in the region.
But that was created by the institutions also. That was a new model that was created.
Exactly.
So they have to think it again twice.
Exactly.
What
And
exactly
they
are
have
they going
said,
to create?
you know, among themselves, let them kill one another. And this is exactly what happened. But this is a guy who understands that we have the right, like them, to enjoy a decent life, to have peace. Dina, we haven't had peace ever in the past 5 or 6 years, right?
Right. And back to Al-Ahram, the front page, Shukri says, Egypt supports the change that would preserve the institutions of the state. In his speech before the Saban Forum for Policies of the Middle East in Washington, Shukri presents Egypt's vision regarding the causes of the Middle East. Shukri says, the 2011 wave of change ended the refused reality, and we agree with the administration of Trump. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry continued his visit to the U.S. on Saturday, meeting with a number of senior officials, including head of the Military Service Committee to the U.S. House of Representatives, John McCain, top Democrat in the Senate Armed Services Committee, Senator Jack Reed, and head of Middle East Subcommittee at the U.S. House of Representatives, Eliana Roz-Lehtinen. The top diplomat also attended a ceremony in the Egyptian embassy in Washington on the occasion of returning 4 pieces of smuggled Egyptian artifacts from the U.S. Of course, I guess in that particular also news, they are confirming somehow what you are saying.
In addition to one little thing.
We welcome the reality as long as the new changes...
Not just this, we welcome the changes. We welcome the changes for as long as they do not touch the presence of a state apparatus. We have seen that there is no state apparatus in Libya. We have seen that there is no state, the state apparatus in Syria caused the difference between Egypt and Syria over who is going to rule Syria. the Iraqis are having a huge problem among themselves. Who's going to rule them? Okay, the same goes for Yemen. The Houthis and Saleh against Abdullah al-Hadi. Okay, so in fact, we are pro the preserving of a state. In any Arab country, change can take place, but without really touching, you know, what makes a state preserved and survive.
Right. On that very important note, we're going to end it here for the Press Digest. Professor Dr. Mervat Madkour, Professor of Political Economy, Research and Development of the Middle East. Thank you very much for coming over to the
Thanks
press
to you,
review.
and sorry for my voice.
No, you are doing perfectly fine. Thank you for coming and wishing you a very good day.
Thank you.
And we're going to end it here. Now we're going to go to a short break and we'll come back to you, so you stay with us.